And welcome back to another devotion. I am Pastor Roy Carlin here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa, and this devotion is for Tuesday, February 18th of 2025. And I noticed you can't see my whole shirt. This is a new shirt I got for Valentine's Day from my lovely wife. It says, "Eat meat, lift heavy, love Jesus." Can't see the love Jesus part on this screen. I apologize. But love Jesus should be the top line, shouldn't it? Yeah, we should reverse the order. But at any rate, we are working. Let's get back to the task at hand, Roy. We are working our way through the book of Acts, and we are in chapter 9. We did a peculiar thing last Thursday. We left off in the middle of a verse. We left off at 19a, and we're going to pick up at 19b, if you will, today. 18, 19, they do a strange thing there where they kind of cut off. They start a verse in the middle of a sentence, and then in the middle of that next verse, in verse 19, it is, as it should be, as where we're at. Verse 19, kind of change in the middle of the verse. What's going on? It's a shift. Not the best division of verses, but for some peculiar reason, they didn't ask Pastor Roy where to divide the verses and chapters when they did it so long ago, long before Pastor Roy was thought of. So at any rate, back to the task at hand, get back to the thing. We are in we're in chapter 9, rather. We are at 19b, and we're going to go through verse 25. Excuse me, I can't talk. So, without further ado, let's read the text. For several days he was with the disciples at Damascus, and in the synagogues immediately he proclaimed Jesus, saying, "He is the Son of God." And all who heard him were amazed and said, "Is not this the man who made havoc in Jerusalem of those who called on this name? And he has come here for this purpose, to bring them bound before the chief priest." But Saul increased all the more in strength and confounded the Jews who lived in Damascus by proving that Jesus was the Christ. When many days had passed, the Jews plotted to kill him, but their plot became known to Saul. They were watching the gates day and night to kill him. But his disciples took him by night and let him down over the wall, lowering him in a basket. Okay, when many days, we don't know exactly how many days, how many weeks, months, however long he was there, but he was there for a wee bit of time, let's put it that way. And he is really on fire. Paul is all in, and he is going gung-ho. Seems to be that's the only way Paul knows how to be, because he was that way about he was very adamant to get out there and to try to squelch this new way of thinking that he wasn't approving of, this heretical way of following this Jesus guy, until he sees this Jesus guy on the road and hears him, and he has the whole thing we just got done with, the scales falling and Ananias and all of that. So he is their biggest advocate now. He went from being the biggest protagonist to the biggest he was the biggest antagonist to the biggest protagonist now. He is pro Jesus. Excuse me, get my storyline right there. And all are amazed. And Paul is gifted in his rhetoric. That's the thing that really sets Paul aside, is he is so very gifted in his argumentative style. He is very talented in argumentative situations. And it's not arguments aren't a bad thing, folks. We tend to, for some reason, we've turned that into a negative. We have to discuss, argue, in order for one or the other of us to decide what is the right thing for both of us to come to what is right. Though we may end up splitting and not having settled the issue, but nonetheless we need to have the skill to debate, and that's what he's doing. He's a skilled debater. He is proving that Jesus was the Christ, because he saw him. He had the vision of Jesus on the road. We just got done with that in the last 2 days. At any rate, Paul is all in, as I say. And he is kind of like, if you ever run into an ex-smoker or an ex-whatever, they tend to be the most outspoken about if somebody's smoking cigarettes. "Oh my gosh, got to get that put away." We had a friend that she subsequently went back to smoking, but for a while she gave up cigarettes, and man, she couldn't stand to have anybody in the room that even smelled of cigarettes. She was just quite, and she was a very outspoken person about it. Kind of the same personality I believe Paul was. very, very outspoken and very forceful in their dialogue. So that's what's going on with Paul. It's the same thing sometimes as someone who is converted from being an atheist to being a Christian. Sometimes they're very vocal. Sometimes the other way around. If they converted from a Christian to an atheist, they're very vocal, but as well. But the people that get attacked the most, and these people are now attacking Paul, the people that get attacked the most are the people that switched. I've been on a lot of online forums, and I see other folks, you would know some as well, people that were atheists and then can be converted to Christianity or perhaps some other religion, but we're talking about Christianity today, because that's our chosen. That is the right way. That is the only way we believe to get to God. But at any rate, I digress. Those Christians that were previously atheists, as myself was at one time, they tend to get attacked the most by those that are still non-believers, because you deserted us, if you will, and so we really want to get you. Plus, I think there's a fear factor there. They understand that for some reason you saw the light and they don't want to see the light, because if I see the light, then I have to admit my sins. That's the hardest part about becoming a Christian. Quite honestly, suddenly you're face to face and you have to realize you're a sinful being. And that is really horrifying. And it just tears you, you just collapse into this puddle, if you will. At least that's the experience that I had when I suddenly realized my sin. At any rate, they have plotted to kill him. They let Paul out of the gates, or by the hole or window in the wall. They lower him down in a basket. You see some pictures of him. There's like a window lowering him down. Whether that's accurate or not, we don't know. Or maybe they just lowered him over the wall. But he gets away from these folks. They're ready to kill him, waiting for him to leave the city. They apparently don't want anybody to see them doing it. They're trying to do it on the sly, so to say. The final thing I want to point out in here, and we're getting about as long as I want to be, the final thing is Paul's already picked up his normal modus operandi, the way that he's going to go about spreading the word. He's already developed this, and develops it very quickly. He goes to the synagogue. And in the synagogues, now there must have been more than one synagogue in Damascus, which would make sense if it's a big city. He is in the synagogues talking. Now he hasn't quite gotten to that point where he later becomes the really looking for the God-fearers, those that have not completely converted to Judaism. That's really what his modus operandi is all the way through. He goes to the synagogues. He looks. Right now, he's talking to the Jews at this point, the fully Jewish people, and it's not like he didn't do that later either. We shouldn't paint it that way. But his chosen target, if you will, would be those that are God-fearers, those that are Gentiles that are following this Jewish God, but for whatever reason they haven't converted yet. And we're going to talk more about that as we go through Acts. But he can see that this is what he's starting to do already. He's already picked up on the best way to do this is to go to the synagogues. And that's what we're going to do. So we'll pick up with Saul in Jerusalem. He's going to immediately here. He's going to go see some of the guys anyway and see what's going on. See if they will see him. Because, they're kind of afraid of him. He was there not just too terribly long, just a few verses back. He was there when they martyred Stephen, and was one of the ones that was there when they drove them all out of Jerusalem. So we'll pick up there. With that, have a blessed day. If you like these devotions, if you gain anything from them, please do like and subscribe. Forgive me for my rambling ways. Have a blessed one. Be a blessing to someone today. We'll look forward to seeing you Thursday. God bless.